Alright, fellas, welcome to the plant tour, which is taking place in a room near a road, so you may hear cars. We begin with this, which Max, the dish, Max and Sophie got me when they went to Japan, is what's the best way of describing it? It's like a wall succulent. It can thrive in really arid places, like it'll grow through a brick wall and on like with almost no soil. But it turns out if you give it soil, it just thrives. It just loves that it can finally not have to struggle. I can't remember its exact name though, but I think it's a sedum of some kind. But they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Then we get to the windowsill. We have this. I don't know what it is, but it's doing well. And I like the pot it's in, although it'll need to be repotted soon because this has been in there for like 2 years now. We have these here, which are little cactuses of another one, which is further along. I'm making so I can I've taken bits off it and I'm making them grow in there, so I can make like tiny little gardens with like 4 or 5 different kind of cacti in. This is from a friend. She sent it over last month, and it's apparently hates being watered. So I just kind of watch it and wait for something to happen to tell me to water it. Next we have one of the many Burrow's tails I have, which is this thing which I quite like because they grow like crazy, but I'm struggling to get it to grow out more stems rather than just making this one stem longer. I got this from a friend, planted it, and it's thriving now, although this end is like super massive because while it was that small it didn't get enough water, and now it is getting enough water. It's just blah. This thing, which looks fucking weird because it is, basically it used to be like this wide and then all the leaves died off and I thought it died off, but then it grew a new tiny little succulent that's slowly flourishing. There's another Burrow's tail. This one has actually successfully split into 2 different stems. Very pleased about that. We have this cactus here, which was in my flat until quite recently, and unfortunately it got a lot of water and it wasn't drying it all, so it's super heavy. So it's sitting above the radiator and in the sun, so it can dry out a bit. But it's so chunky now and so green because it's full of water. And I may try breaking off some of the segments so I can do the same thing I'm doing in there. This is some rosemary. So my parents have had a rosemary bush since there was I think my dad planted it when we first moved in like 2003, and I wanted to be able to take a bit of that with me because I consider it like as old as most of the house, and most of the house has been destroyed. So this is like an original piece. This rosemary bush survived the construction, which basically destroyed our garden. Like everything else died except the rosemary. So very pleased to have that. I basically just chopped off 2 stems, put them in water for a while, and once they grew roots, I put them in this pot. They do need a lot of water though because they are growing. You can see so the shoots are green here and then like brown down here because the brown was the original stem and it's grown the green since then. This is the cactus that these are taken from. I'm very fond of it because it does just sort of like grow in all kinds of directions. This I ordered from Surreal Succulents, and it's being a bit weird in that like a lot of the lower leaves are turning yellow and brown and dying off, and I'm not sure if it likes the sun or not. I can't find much information about it, and I'm hoping it'll turn it around because I don't want this to die. I quite like it. This I've had for a really long time and is actually my favorite. And I think for the first time since I've gotten it, it's flowering. When I first got it, it was in a pot this big, and there were just 3 of these sort of like florets. I think there's about 14 of them in there now. This is a cactus I got at some point, which is in the same boat as that one there, where it's like super waterlogged. So it's also here. I like it because it kind of looks like bismuth, or it reminds me of bismuth anyway. It's got this really nice geometric structure to it, and I'm going to try and do the same, break a piece off and then grow some more. This is my Haworthia, which I think I sent you guys a photo of a while ago. And actually, it's got a really nice surprise for me. It's growing a second flower. So there'll be 2 of these really cool flowers when they're done. This down here is a tiny little Burrow's tail, one of these, growing from an individual one of these segments. And there is another one. And this pot is my little succulent garden, and it's got loads and loads and loads of those segments which have been partially buried, and I'm just spritzing them every so often so they grow. This is the thing that smells like piss and honey, which I'm sad about, but it will turn into something quite cool. And there's this shark skin thing here, and then under this is another geometric one. These are babies from this, which grow out the sides. You can pull them off and plant them, which I will be doing again to make more like tiny succulent gardens. This looks like it's one of these Barrow's tails, but it isn't. It's slightly different. And someone I lived with gave me a little piece of it, and I've grown it, and theirs died, so I'm going to try and give them a piece back so they can grow it back again. This is an asparagus fern, which I got one like a year ago, and I've managed to make 4 out of it because it just explodes when you feed it water and sunlight. So that was the windowsill. Now we're over to the mantelpiece. This is a latex plant I got from Patch quite recently. This is, funnily enough, called a Chinese evergreen, but is obviously red. It's doing well as well, although it doesn't do a lot. Both of those don't do much. This is, I'm in a dressing gown because it's cold. Hello. This is another asparagus fern, like that, but a different species slightly. So it makes like a little tree, and it's growing one little stem up, which is doing well. Love to see it. This is my iron cross begonia, which I thought was really pretty, but I kind of think sucks now. And also it's like molding, which I don't really like, and I don't know how to solve. It said it needed to be kept moist, but maybe it's too moist. I don't know. I need to on the weekend. I'm gonna do something with it and see if I can fix it. This is a Croton something, and well, it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I got it quite recently, and I love it, but it doesn't do a lot. This I've had for ages. This is a prayer plant, so at night all the leaves kind of like stand up slightly. And it actually makes little rustling noises as they rub against each other, so it kind of makes you jump a bit. It's not fast; it happens very, very slowly. But yeah, and it's constantly flowering with these cute little flowers. A lot of the leaves are kind of destroyed because when I had it originally, the cat just liked to sneak into my room and just bite the shit out of it. And then into the final run. This is a monkey's paw monstera. It's got these very famous, very distinctive leaves with holes in, and it climbs actually, which is why I put these poles in. This is a dinky little fern, which turns brown really easily. It just seems to complain a lot, so I'm glad it's not doing that at the moment. Although this is my shame. I got a bunch of stone plants and they're just doing awfully. I don't know what to do about that. Oh yeah, my maidenhair fern, which is this here. This died when I first got it because I left it in the sun, but it's made a really good comeback because you just need to keep it moist, just spritz it down and keep it in the shade. Don't put it in the sun. Keep it really, really, really damp. Behind it is my monstera, which lives up to its name and is fucking huge. Like that leaf for size reference is like the size of my hand, and they will get much bigger, and you can see like that one's got a bit missing. Like ideally there'd be like 5 or 6. When it's fully grown, there'll be 5 or 6 of those gaps per leaf. This pot is a new little project, which is just some lemongrass, although it's not like flourishing. I don't know whether it needs more water or more sun or what. It's just hanging out. And these are some nasturtiums, which aren't doing great because I don't really care about them, because I got like 2 full pots of them and then I planted them at my place. And yeah, those are the plants in this room, which is about half of the total number, maybe a little more. And yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to send them over.